In this video, we're going to show you how to use Event Intelligence with your own SMTP mail server. So by default, any emails that are sent through Event Intelligence are sent through the Event Intelligence mail servers. You can optionally set up your own SMTP server so that when you send custom emails and custom PDFs to your clients and prospects, those are sent through your own mail account instead of the Event Intelligence mail servers. So to set this up, go ahead and log into your account and go to the admin page. On the admin page, locate the icon for Custom SMTP Server. On this page, this is where you'll enter all the settings for your own custom SMTP server. Now, this can work with services such as Google Workspace or Gmail, as well as other services like Outlook.com. It can also work with virtually any mail server, any SMTP server, as long as you can set up unique credentials for Event Intelligence. And this is one of the most important parts of this. You do not, under any circumstances, want to enter your username and password that you normally use to log into your email. It's important that you set up what's called an app password specifically for Event Intelligence. You never want to put in, again, your username and password that you use on a regular daily basis to access your email. It's very important that you set up a unique app password just for Event Intelligence. And we're going to walk you through an example of how to do this, but this is critical for security purposes and to ensure that everything remains private and that you can cut off access to Event Intelligence at any time simply by deleting that app password. The other thing before we get started that we want to point out here is that if you set up your own SMTP server, this is only used to send custom email and custom PDFs to clients and prospects. This does not impact what we call transactional emails that are sent to clients, such as receipts, invoices, password resets, and e-signature requests. Those are considered transactional in nature, and those will always go out through the Event Intelligence servers. So using your own SMTP server is specific to sending custom emails and custom PDFs to clients and prospects. So let's walk through an example of how to set this up, and then you can see the advantage to using this feature as well as the potential downsides. Now, one thing to note here, if you go to this page and you see a red message at the top indicating that you have to upgrade your account, that's because this feature is only available with specific plans, so you may need to upgrade your account in order to take advantage of this feature. So for our example here, we're going to go ahead and set this up to work with a Gmail account. Now, I have set up a phony test Gmail account for purposes of demonstration, but what you're going to want to do, depending on what service you want to use, my advice is go to Google and search the name of the service followed by app passwords. So in this case, Gmail app passwords. This is going to be the most effective way to find the correct page to go to for your email provider to set up an app password. And a lot of times these pages are hidden by the email service providers. So really the only way to effectively find them is to go to Google and then type in Gmail app passwords or Outlook app passwords, and that's going to give you the direct link to that page. So we've located it here for Gmail. We'll go ahead and click on that. And what you're going to see here is I'm actually still logged into that test Gmail account that I set up, but we're on the app password page, and this is where you can set up a password that is specific to an app that you're using. So for the purposes of our example, we're going to type Event Intelligence. We're going to hit Create. And up on the screen is going to appear an app password. So it's specific to Event Intelligence. You never want to use this anywhere else. You want to keep it just for Event Intelligence so that at any time, if you want to revoke access from Event Intelligence to your Gmail account, all you have to do is come in here and hit the garbage can icon to delete that app password, and then Event Intelligence will no longer have access to your mail account for sending email. So we're going to bounce back over here to our SMTP configuration page. We're going to type in that Gmail test account that we set up. That's our Gmail address, and unfortunately, YouTube requires us to blur that out. And for the app password, we're going to go ahead and paste in that value that we just received from Google. So we're going to go back to Google now. We're going to perform a second search. This is my recommendation. We're going to type Gmail SMTP settings. And again, you can replace the word Gmail with whatever service you use. It could be Outlook SMTP settings. And again, the reason here is we just want to get back the correct settings to use for Gmail. So you'll see here the SMTP server is smtp.gmail.com. We're going to copy that and paste that in. We're going to go back here. The port number is 587, and you'll see it's TLS is the authentication. So we're going to type 587. We're going to choose TLS. And then this here is for your email address, and the reason for this is some providers provide a separate login for the app password. So the username is not always the same as the email address. In most cases, I would say more than 90% of the cases, it's going to be the same. So I just typed in, again, you can't see it because it's blurred, I typed in that Gmail test account that I created. And before we continue, we have to agree to the disclaimer. Now, the disclaimer is very important that you read through it. It's just saying that, you need to be responsible for the security of your mail account. If there's ever a problem and you want to revoke access, you need to go to your app passwords and hit the garbage can, delete Event Intelligence's access. And it's also important here to understand that, and this is we talked earlier about potential downsides to using your own SMTP server. A potential downside here is you do always run the risk of your mail provider cutting off access to being able to send emails. This could be because you've reached some sort of a daily limit or a monthly limit. Maybe they're offline. Maybe something else has changed with your account. Maybe you changed your email address and you didn't update it in here. Any of those types of things can cause email not to be sent. So this is just a disclaimer saying you're using this at your own risk, and if there's any problems, you need to come in here and fix it manually. That's not something that we're able to do for you because we don't have access to your mail account. And then finally here at the bottom, you're going to want to type in an email address to send a test message. And this is important because you just want to make sure that the mail server is configured correctly before we enable it to be used by your Event Intelligence account. So you'll see up here, we're going to leave enabled set to no. We've just put in all our settings, and now we're going to hit save and test. Okay, so you'll see here at the top, it says save. Please confirm the test message was received. Do not enable this SMTP server until the test is received. So right now I have in the background on my phone looking at my mail account where I sent the test message, and there it is. In fact, I received an email. It says this is a test message from Event Intelligence sent through your custom SMTP server. So it works. We received the test message. So now we can go ahead and enable it. So we're going to do that and enable this server. So now that this is set to yes, now Event Intelligence is set up to use our own custom SMTP server. So what does that mean exactly? Well, let's go to Workflow. Let's go to Custom Emails. And let's send a custom email. We're going to just send a pretend one to a fake client just to show this. So we're going to go ahead and set up this custom email, and we're going to just go ahead and let it send to our test email account. And we're going to send that. So now let's bounce over here to our test Gmail account, because this is where I want to show you the benefit of using this service. So if I go to my sent items, you'll see here in my test account, I have 3 messages. I have the 2 SMTP server tests that we sent. But more importantly, what you're going to see here is this is that custom email that we just created and sent through the platform. So what's interesting here is that message was sent to the client at their email account, but you'll see that it actually came from my test Gmail account. It did not come from Event Intelligence. So it was actually sent through the Gmail servers, and you now have, if you go to Sent Items, a record of any custom emails or PDFs that you've sent to your client right here in your Gmail account. So in addition to having access to them through Event Intelligence, where you can see all of the sent messages, you can now also see it in your Sent Items right in your own mail account. And of course, the customer, if they were to respond to that email, it's going to come right back into your Gmail account because that's the email address from which the email was sent. So that is how you set this up. Again, if you ever want to revoke access, you're going to want to go back to app passwords and delete that out of there. And again, the one thing to keep in mind with this is if anything changes, if you delete that app password, if you update your email address, if any settings change on your mail server, or if you've reached any sort of limits with your mail provider, this is not going to function and those emails are not going to be sent. So it's something that you need to keep an eye on. If you're sending emails, make sure they're in your sent items, make sure clients are receiving them, and if they're not, make sure you come back to this page to re-input your settings and perform another test to make sure that it is working properly.